Who was here at the conference last year? Great. I was here, I attended last year. I love that it's big enough that it has to be in 2 rooms now. So a lot of the speakers have been talking about how to create your book, how to build your book, how to publish your book. But then, and as we saw in the last presentation, there's a problem with once you publish it, how are people going to find it? How will they know about it? Well, that's where I come in. We're going to talk about 5 steps to get media attention without hiring a publicist, because I need you to understand that anybody can get publicity. It's available to everybody. If you are a teacher, if you're a speaker, if you're an author, if you are a subject matter expert, publicity is available to you. And in fact, the right pitch to the right person can absolutely get you booked for an interview, get you booked as a guest, get you booked for media coverage. So to tell you who I am, I'm Chris Well. My website is buildyourbrandacademy.com. And I've spent 30 years in the media. I was the guy behind the desk that people were pitching to get to my audience. I've worked in magazines, I've worked in newspapers, I've worked in radio, I've been on television, I've had podcasts, I've worked in websites. Currently I'm in a media company that has a radio network and a series of magazines and internet brands. And I've been the person that you pitch to get to my audience. And so now I want to pull back the curtain and let you know the kinds of things you need to say to convince somebody that they should share you with their audience. So I have 5 steps for you to get media attention without hiring a publicist. The first step is you need to create a media kit. So this is going to be a series of publicity materials that you create and put on your website that are going to explain who you are as an author. They're going to explain your book, and then there's going to be some images. So the first part, who you are as an author, this will include biography of yourself, a short biography that they can grab and go, like a 1-sentence, and then a 50-word one, and then like a 100-word one, so 3 bios. There'll be interview materials, there'll be suggested interview questions that somebody can come to your site, like me as the media, I can come to your site, and either it helps me determine whether you're a good fit for my audience or for my outlet, and also helps me research you so that I can ask you better questions in that interview. The information about your book is going to include a summary of the book. What is it about? What makes it unique? What makes it special? And then your images will include an author photo and a book cover. And speaking as a media, there's a pet peeve when I come to your website if your author photo is precious, if you have your face in your hand, or you're in some kind of pose, or you're smoking a pipe because it makes you look smart, or you have a typewriter, or you're hunched over the stack of books. Just look at the camera and have enough room around your head that I can crop it to whatever shape I need the photo to be. Your book cover, I don't want it to be tilted, I don't want it to be 3-dimensional, I don't want it to have a halo or anything, just pure flat book cover. So on your website, you are free to have a precious photo, and you're free to have a book cover that's tilted and has a halo. Those aren't for your media kit. Once you have your media kit in place, you want to find the right contact information. So how do you know who to contact? Well, you start actually with who is your audience. Who are the people that are interested in the kind of thing that you do, the kind of thing you write about, the kind of information that you have to share. There are 2 ways to think about audience. There's geographical, so where are you a local story? You as a local author, of course, are local wherever you live, but then you can also do a local story somewhere else. So, for example, the story you might pitch at home is you conduct a workshop at the local library. That's a local story because you're local, and then of course it's a local library. Well, what about the next state? You can do a workshop at their library, and that's local to them. The other way to think about audience is their interests, their shared interests. So, do they like sports? Do they like a particular craft? Are they fans of a genre? So, think about the audience that's interested in your category or your subject of expertise. And that's your audience that you are trying to figure out how to tell them you have a book so that they will come to your website, look at your materials, click, and buy something. Once you've figured out your audience, who is the media that talks to that audience? What podcasts are they listening to? What radio shows? What TV shows are they watching? What websites are they going to? What newsletters are they subscribed to? So think about who are the outlets that speak to your audience. And then after you've figured out the outlet, who is the person to contact at the outlet? Your pitch is not going to be a mass email. It's going to be a specific pitch to a specific person by name. Hello, specific person by name at specific place. I have something specific that is of interest to your specific audience. So how do you find this person? If it's a print outlet, there's going to be a staff box, and there's also bylines with a lot of the materials that get printed. You might find the staff box on a website. If it's something you listen to or watch, then there are probably credits that roll at the end, or that they say at the end. You want to look for the decision maker. So this could include like a department editor or a columnist. If a columnist writes whatever he or she wants to write. In the case of like a show, it probably would be a producer or even a segment producer. So you want to find that staff box or credits so you can get a sense of, okay, who is the editor? Who are the producers? Who are the decision makers that you want to go after? And then once you've figured out who you're going to talk to, you want to craft a compelling story. So number 3 is craft a compelling story. And when I say story, I don't mean the story inside your book. This is the story around your book. You are creating you are going to pitch a topic or an angle or a hook or an article or an interview that's on a topic, and the reason you're the expert is you wrote a book. That's why you're the expert talking on this topic. Because you have to understand, when you go to these people, they don't care about you and they don't care about your book. What they care about is keeping the audience engaged. You know, how do I keep them listening? How do I keep them reading? How do I keep them tuned in or watching or whatever it is? How do I keep them from going away? Because if they go away, I lose my job. So if you come in and say, I can help you keep them engaged, they're going to listen to you. Because it's not about you, it's about their audience. So your topic, when you come to that media outlet or you talk to this person, you need to figure out how to say, this is how this topic will entertain them, or enlighten them, or educate them. And then once you're ready to move to the next step, number 4 is share the right information. So as you're crafting, whether it's an email or a letter in physical mail, for those who still remember physical media, or in some cases, if you have permission to do this, maybe you leave a voicemail message, you want to make sure that your pitch has enough information so they know what you're talking about. And they can make an informed decision about whether you're a good fit for this audience, or you're a good fit for their editorial calendar. So there's a journalistic practice. If you were writing a news story, you would want it to include the 5 W's. It's actually the 5 W's and an H. Who, what, when, where, why, and how. So with your pitch, in the same way, you want to answer as many of those as you can in that email or that letter or that voicemail. Who, what, when, why, where, and how. But you don't want to go way over that. You don't want to share too much information, because if they have to dig through that email or dig through that package you sent in the mail, or if they have to sit and wait for that voicemail or start hitting fast forward, they're probably going to miss why you are a great fit, why you have a great idea, why you have a great topic. So you want to share as much of the 5 W's and an H as possible, but then you want to step back and give them the chance to follow up if they want to follow up. And of course, this is also why you put the media kit on your website, because that's, if you want more information, click this link. If you want an author photo, click this link. If you want a bio, if you want suggested questions, if you want a press release, click this link. And then number 5 is to plan ahead. You do not wait until the last minute. For the main reason is that with a lot of these people in the media, They're working on a calendar that they are working days ahead, weeks ahead, months ahead. And I guarantee you there are at least magazines in the world that I can tell you now, they already have next year figured out already. It's already too late to pitch them for 2017. So, minimum, you want to make sure that if you're pitching somebody, you are at least 2 months out of when you think it would be a good idea for this to run. And if it turns out that you're early, they won't be mad that you're early. Nobody will ever say, go away, I hate you because you're early. They will say, come back in a week or come back in a month. But if you come in too late, they're going to say, I love this idea, but we already have, that issue is already filled, or we already have a guest booked, or whatever. So do not wait till the last minute. And then you also want to be prepared to come back every 6 to 8 weeks with something new. And I don't mean a new book, I mean a new point of entry, a new excuse to have a conversation. You want to probably, in the course of pitching this book overall, the life of this book, and even leading up to this book, because you're not pitching the book, you're pitching yourself as an expert. So you can start before the book is out. And you don't have to stop once the book is out because it's too old. It's not about the book, it's about you as an expert, you as a thought leader, you as somebody with something to share. So try to think of at least 6 different points of entry to talk about your subject, and then get an opportunity to say, I have a book. As you start getting some quick wins, as you start getting some traction, you want to also make sure you don't fall into the trap of thinking it's just done in one. Oh, I talked to that guy, now I'm done, and I move on with my life. You want to leverage your attention. You want to get the maximum value out of every media opportunity, because you're building a portfolio on your website. That media page that you started back in number 1, now if you are interviewed somewhere, if you show up on a blog, if you're quoted, if you write a guest post, you add that to that page. So that when somebody comes to that page and finds the stuff you created, then they start seeing proof that you know what you're talking about because here are these people endorsing you. So, for example, on my media page, me speaking at this conference will go on my media page. Next month, I will be one of the speakers at a virtual conference. That will go on my media page. I have 4 different shows that have invited me to be a guest. I have to schedule it. Each one of those will end up on my media page. So, as you any blurb, any mention, any review, feel free to add that to your media page so that as other media come to that page, they see how you are as a guest. They see that you've been vetted. They see that you are part of a club that has relatively few people who have been interviewed. Because you will find that media attention brings more media attention. As you prove yourself, as you are interviewed, as you are a guest, as you're asked to participate in this process, you become more attractive to other media. Yes, sir.
You mentioned repeat contacts to make sure that people are constantly aware of your changes or updates and so forth. It's also risky that you could become an irritant to someone. Is that not
okay? You come back with something interesting. You don't come back and say, hey, I'm still here. So if you have 6 different excuses to talk about your topic, 2 things happen. First of all, there will be somebody that you pitched to that was interested and liked you, but you fell through the cracks because of a short schedule or they were full up or whatever. But when you come back 2 months later and you say, here's a topic that will be interesting to your audience, that will keep your audience engaged, that person will be glad to hear from you because they will be glad to remember you. They will be glad to be reminded. Now, you pitch somebody, and that topic that you pitched, because it wasn't you, you're not pitching yourself, and you're not pitching your book. You're pitching, here's something that will enlighten your audience. Well, if they didn't like this one, now obviously if you come back with the same thing, yes, then you are pestering them. They don't like that. But if you pitch them something completely different, this might be the thing. They're like, oh, okay, this makes sense to me. So the focus, always focus on, I'm helping you. I have something to offer you. I have something for your audience. And as long as the conversation moves in that direction, and they never feel like they're asking for something, that, I don't want to use the word trick, but that's the trick. Is, because I know that when I receive things, if it's a conversation, it's completely different than if they're just throwing stuff at me. Sure.
I'm just curious, especially from a physical standpoint, obviously we're talking about creating a digital media kit.
Yes.
How do you feel about people who send you promotional goods or a physical kit in itself? I mean, I know there's some industries that do that to get it. And what is your take on that? And especially being I have a book on cheese, so if I send something to somebody and, you know what I mean, if it was in a physical package and so forth, is that a turn off? Is that a waste of time? Is it just going to go in the bin?
It's, well, it's expensive
Yes.
from your standpoint. But from my standpoint, okay, yes, as a member of the media, my desk is covered with things. But if it's something that's interesting, then I will set it aside and try to remember it.
Okay.
And so even then, though, if you send certain kinds of materials, I'll probably still want you to email something for me to copy and paste.
Mm-hmm. So if I included there's some really cool USB drives that are like a paperclip that hold information. It's like my whole media kit's on this paper. I've done this before.
Okay,
It's
yes.
successful. But I added goodies and stuff. I did an internship at a fashion show and sent it a whole bunch of stuff. And they loved it. They took a picture of it and they put it on Instagram. But everything was on there.
Right.
I mean, I think I lucked out.
Well, yeah, in your case, when you're talking about, you can include something with the camera.
Yeah.
As long as you don't fall in the trap of thinking that you're somehow exchanging that, or they think you think you're exchanging that for coverage, but in terms of just making your kit stand out, very much so. I mean, there are copy mugs I still have from 20 years ago that were included with the press kit.
Okay.
So now there are some places where they have, there's a threshold to what they can accept before they, the rules of the company.
Alcohol, that kind of
Well, I just mean dollar value.
Yeah.
Like if you took a cheese wheel, some places would go, that's really great, and some places would go, oh, thank you, but I can't because of company rules.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing about physical things can work as long as you remember to follow up, because it could end up in a pile.
It does not.
But if you're including something with it that makes sense, yes, you will stand out.
Right.
Over if you're just an email and a stack of emails, everybody looks the same.
What I'm hearing from you is if you know the person, you're not just blindly sending this out to all these people, you're
Right.
really targeting, and you have something of value that's
Right.
that appeals to them. It would just maybe up your game if you spend a few dollars to
Because that will
present
remember.
it. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you for answering.
But yeah, to keep the cost down too, but also the more personalized it is, that also makes a big difference.
Yeah.
Because if you're, and with all of these, if you're just blindly sending out mass emails, we can tell. And those are going to get deleted, those are going to get thrown away. Unless you just by luck end up at the top of the pile. But if it's something that has my name on it, and it includes, it's like, oh, here's some cheese that I can put in the office break room.
Yeah.
It doesn't guarantee coverage, but it is some, I will remember that.
Right.
And that really is the thing. Okay, thank you very much.